What's up, everybody? Jeffrey here. I have a special guest with me today. Got Peter from Thailand-bound. He's got an amazing YouTube channel.
Thanks, Jeff.
How you doing, Peter?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
joining me today.
Nice setting you've brought me to here. Very nice.
Yes. So Peter has a YouTube channel. Peter, do you want to tell them a little bit about your YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure. It's it hasn't actually got a theme at the moment because I've been stuck in the UK for 2 years, like everybody else, just over 2 years actually. And when I started, I was in a place called Hua Hin, and I was filming. I decided to make a YouTube channel, and originally it was going to be a kind of travel vlog channel. So I was going to go around Thailand, film my experiences. A lot of people doing that already, but that's what I was going to do. I got stuck in lockdown in the UK like everybody else, and I told a few stories from memory about guys who'd fallen in love with bar girls, and they were crash and burn stories, and people started sending them in, you know, and it went on from there. It just escalated. I got all these stories. We had every Saturday there was a story read out, and I'm now back in Thailand, so I want to pick up where I left off, basically.
Cool. What was your first time in Thailand?
The date, well, like the year.
Yeah. Were you young, or did you come later in
Oh,
life?
yeah.
Or?
I mean, I'm 62 in April, and when I first came here, I was 31 years of age, so a long time ago.
Okay.
I mean, Bangkok didn't have a BTS, they didn't have the SkyTrain, they didn't have the Underground. It was a lot different to what it is now. And actually, this area of Jumtien, where I've met you today, we're quite far down here, aren't we? Jumtien, there used to be a few bars and restaurants right at the very beginning, and down here there was only apartment blocks. All these shops and cafes, there was none of this back then.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned to you last night, Jumtien has a main road, beach road, and then there's all these little sois leading up to where we're at. Is this south? I get my sense of direction.
I think, because Naklua is north.
Naklua is north.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of south Pattaya right now. So coming down, all these little sois have all these little massage shops, all these little bars that are just
it's a nice place.
Unexplored. And you can hit these little sois, and
definitely,
which is very cool.
Nice place to be. I can think of worse places to be.
So did you ever live here long term?
Yeah, I lived here for a number of years. I mean, I lived in Pattaya for 3 years. I lived in Isan, that's up in the north of the country.
Wow.
Yeah, a city called Khon Kaen. I was there for 2 years.
What was that like?
Yeah, I lived in Bangkok for several years, on and off, and I've visited constantly for the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years visiting. So yeah, I mean, it's in my blood. I can't ever stay away from here.
Nice. Was Isan weird? Because I would imagine you were kind of the only foreigner
I wasn't,
in certain instances.
Yeah, I wasn't the only foreigner, but it's not a beach town. It's a rural area. It's quite a poor area. Well, it was back then. It's agriculture. Mainly that's what they do up there. And you're right, there wasn't that many foreigners there when I was there. So people did look at you in the street. You look different. Now, it's not like that now, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's much more fun to be in a beach town.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a number of years ago, so I'm sure it's changed now.
Well, here with Pattaya, I'm finding you have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So we got the Big Buddha, and there's Pratibnak Hill Park up there. So you've got your little nature up there. You've got Pattaya, Soi Buakhao, like where we were at last night for your city.
Yeah.
And then you've got your beach.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you got Bangkok, Phuket, and then your nature area all into one.
Everything here, everything, yeah.
So are you planning on staying here for your retirement, or
I'm
going
still
back and forth to...
I'm thinking what to do. I mean, originally before I came out on this trip, I thought I'll stay in the UK, but I'll lengthen my trips out here, come out for 2-3 months at a time. But you know what, now I'm out here, those long haul flights and those, just the whole thing that goes on in the UK, I don't really want to be there. So I think eventually I'm going to come out here full time. I haven't decided where I'd want to live. I wouldn't live in Pattaya itself. It's too, you could go crazy over there. You know what I mean. It's nice here, but I don't think it's right for me. So I'm not sure where yet. But yeah, in answer to your question, I think I will come out to retire here.
A lot of the guys that I've been running across, I've been hearing the same story, the same problem. They're fallen in love with the city because of the beautiful beach and the atmosphere, but they're having trouble finding a regular girlfriend.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually married.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, my wife is from South Korea,
Okay.
I've been married to her for 31 years, and the reason I'm here without her is it's a bit strange, you know. So her family, she's got quite a large family, and they've come over to the UK for Christmas and New Year, and you know they're all speaking Korean. They make all their own food and everything, and I'm totally out of place there. And I said to my wife, look, I haven't been to Thailand 2 years. I've got my YouTube channel. Would you mind if I went over and got some content? Our daughters have grown up and left, and she, you know, she's pretty cool about it. So her she's there with her family. They can get on with it. So I'm going back in January, and the first thing I'll be thinking about is when can I get back out here.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the guys who are dealing with this problem?
About not being able to get out here? I would say it's just a waiting game, really. I mean, they announced yesterday, or the day before, was it yesterday? They've cancelled the Thailand pass now. I was lucky, I dodged a bullet, I got in at the right time. You know, I spent one night in a hotel, they gave me the all clear, I came out, but now you can't do that. So they're going to, I think the 4th of January, they're going to have a meeting again. So it's just a waiting game. You're just going to have to wait until they say you can come back out, or the alternative, you get out here and you have to quarantine in a hotel for 7 days or 10 days.
Is it 7 days at this point?
Yeah. I did it for one night. I think I'd go crazy if it was 7 nights.
Yeah, it seems a little crazy. We went out a little bit last night. Everything was
you wouldn't
everything
know.
Was looking rocking.
You wouldn't know, would you? I mean,
No,
it was,
not at all.
Especially around was it Soy Bacau and those sort of areas. I mean, it was very busy actually, wasn't it?
It was very busy.
We had a good time.
It was nice. That was a good time.
Yeah.
And just a few weeks ago, you'd walk down those side streets that we were at, dark.
Of course, I didn't see that because I arrived once it was open,
Right.
and you know, I've seen the best of it. You've seen the worst of it.
Yeah, it was just dark, dark, dark. Nobody out.
Yeah.
They were doing Tree Town with the
The coffee cups.
coffee cups,
Special flavored coffee cups. Yeah. Coffee.
but very good to see that.
Yeah. Good.
So, what's your plan while you're here?
I'm trying to, you know, because the YouTube channel is called Thailand-bound, and I've been in the UK for 2 years, so it's kind of a holiday / content. I've got to get content. Well, I haven't got to, but I want to get content because, you know, making videos about Thailand from 6,000 miles away in the UK, you almost feel like a fake. You know, you're making it's not my fault that I haven't been able to get here, but now that I've had the chance to get here, I'm trying to get as much content as I can.
But you're a seasoned Thailand guy, so
Well, yeah,
of course it's better to be here. But
Yeah,
if you have knowledge of it, then
But I've got, you
that
know,
stays with you, right?
Oh yeah, but you can only make, I've done all those videos, you can only make so many videos, 20 things you shouldn't do in Thailand, 12 places to visit in
Right,
Bangkok.
right.
You know, after 2 years, you come to what else can I make a video about from the UK? So to actually be out here, I've made a video today, walking along the seafront, which is great.
Nice.
I made one with Trevor from Buzz and Pattaya the
Yes.
other day, now with you. So this is great. You know, I'm in Thailand, we're all making this content at last, and yeah, it's great.
Nice. So more on-the-ground videos are going to be coming out on your channel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can just, if you can talk about anything on the video, but if you're sitting in a room with a wall behind you, it's not interesting, is it?
Right.
So if you're walking along the beach with a selfie stick, okay, you're looking like a bit of an idiot, but the thing is, you've got a beautiful background, you know, the sea, the sand, so it's nice.
Cool. And how did I'm a big fan. He did a cartoon series on his channel about a Thai woman who
The bar girl, yeah.
Yeah, who's a bar girl who, what did she become? She became a pro?
Yeah,
Is that where it left off?
Yeah, I mean, it's a series of, we're on series 2, episode 2 now. So her name is Nat. It's actually an animation series. It's become very, very popular, but it's based on, a lot of guys sent in stories about bar girls that they'd met who'd fleeced them, basically. Right. They trusted them and they'd conned them. And this is a kind of, it's not a serious animation, it's a fun series about this girl Nat and how she goes about fleecing guys. And she ends up in the UK. She thinks she's falling in love with this guy, basically, and she thinks she's going to the UK to live in a castle, and she's not. When she well, I don't want to give the story away. You'll have to, your followers will have to have a look at it.
So how did the animation series come about?
I had a partner on the channel called Simon, and he's very good at this kind of thing. He's technically, I'm 62 as I mentioned, so I can get by, but this guy's very good with software. And we just had the idea together, and he was able to put it together.
I'm sure they all know Simon.
You know Simon, yeah. So the problem is, unfortunately, I would love to bring these animations out every couple of weeks. They're a lot of work. Although they're only 10 minutes long, they take 3-4 days to make.
Cool, very entertaining. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're very popular.
What's your favorite area in Thailand?
At the moment, because it changes over the years, I used to love downtown Pattaya because it's party town, and you know what guy wouldn't love downtown Pattaya. Bangkok's great because of the infrastructure now, and it has everything. It's quite pollutant now. There's a lot of pollution. So in answer to your question, for me right now at this point in time, because of my age, I like Hua Hin. That's another beach town similar to Pattaya, but it's not as wild as Pattaya. It's more like Jomtien, and you get a different.
It's on my list to get over there.
Yeah. It's not, you know, if you're a young guy and you want to party, it's not the sort of place you want to go, but it's got enough there to keep you interested. You're not going to get bored there.
There used to be, from what I understand, there used to be a ferry that ran from Pattaya to Hua Hin.
Yeah, that's gone out of business, unfortunately, with the you know, with the 2 years of not having any income. But that, you know, the Gulf of Pattaya, it looks like a horseshoe. So Pattaya's on one side of the kind of horseshoe, and Hua Hin was on the other. So now you have to drive right all the way round, whereas you could get the ferry across. It was about 1,400 baht, and it was a good deal.
That would have been great.
Yeah, hour and a half to get across.
Yeah. Now I'll take the bus to Bangkok, then from Bangkok to Hua Hin.
Yeah. It's quite a long haul, really. But if you go, you're not going to go there for a night. You'll go there for a week or something. And the hotels are very cheap, and you can rent a small motorcycle for 150 baht a day, so you can get around. Just don't go on the highway with it. One of the other big, I don't know if you, one of the other big changes I've noticed is the people were very blasé towards the law with things like wearing helmets. Nobody wore helmets 25 years ago. You were supposed to wear them, but nobody wore them, and the police didn't bother. You know, people would go out drinking and then get on their motorbike and drive home. They never had a problem unless they had an accident. A lot of people did have accidents. You know, people smoked and threw their cigarette butt on the floor, and you know, it just wasn't really policed like it is now. Now they're hot on everything. You know, if you're not wearing a helmet, they'll stop you. They'll fine you on the spot. Smoking is allowed nowhere. You're not allowed to smoke anywhere. If you throw a cigarette butt down, then you've had it. So I've noticed that's another big change.
Yeah. Well, I found actually here in Pattaya, people follow the traffic laws. Where in Bangkok, they're driving on the sidewalks, they're running the red lights, they're turning right and left at the lights and stuff like that. Where here, everybody waits for the lights. So, are you heading out tonight?
Do you know, I've had two really. When did I get down here? 3 nights now. I can't even remember what day it is today. Is it Thursday today?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So I got here Monday night, Tuesday night. Yeah, Wednesday. It's my 3rd day. So, do you know, we were out last night. I was out with Trevor the night before. I've had 2 heavy nights, and I think what I'm going to do today, I'm going to stay over here and do some filming till the sun, maybe get the sunset. And I think I'm going to spend the evening editing. I know that sounds crazy. In Thailand, you sit in your room editing, but you know, I think I'm going to have not an early night, but I'll do some editing, and then I might go out for a couple of beers later.
So how do you find the YouTubers here in Thailand? You said maybe like there's a lot in Pattaya. Do you think it's oversaturated, or do you think that everyone can kind of like have their piece of the pie?
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word oversaturated, but there are a lot of people based here doing YouTube channels, which makes it difficult to be successful. There are some very successful channels down here. I won't name them here, but you know who they are. There's 2 or 3 people. But what you might not realise is a lot of people here who have YouTube channels who don't have the numbers, and they're trying to get the numbers. I'm talking very low numbers, in the hundreds.
Sure.
So it's a very difficult. Although there's a lot to film here, it's very difficult because there is a lot of people doing the same thing. And when I came out here originally, people said to me, look, I'm not going to make any videos out here because I haven't got anything new to add to the table, as it were. If somebody likes your channel because of you, they're going to watch anything you make.
Right.
If they don't like you, they're not. You can make the best video in the world, they're not going to watch it, are they?
Sure.
So, but just making the videos about Pattaya, you know, if they're just looking for information, there's so many of the same.
Right. But yeah, I think it comes down to the person that they like to follow.
Yeah, sure, of course it does, yeah.
There's the trust element. You know, if somebody's giving you correct information or has opinions and views that you kind of lean towards, you're going to gravitate towards that person.
And of course, you'll find once your numbers get, you know, once you get into the higher thousands, you do get trolled, and you get people who leave stupid comments. And when I started, And when I first got these messages, like comments, I used to feel a little bit hurt, and I took the time to explain to the person who wrote to me. But it just turns from bad to worse, because what happens is they're trolling you because they don't like you, or they don't like the video, or they're jealous of what you're doing.
Sure.
And what happens is they'll leave a comment. I can't think of an example, but what you do, you'll read it, and then you'll take half an hour to write to the guy or leave an answer in a very grown-up, sensible way, and he'll come back with a one-liner, which is even worse. So you can't win.
Sure.
So all you can do is just delete them. Or what I do now, actually, because it's great, I used to delete them. Last year I'd get a crappy message and I delete it, but now I actually approve it and I leave it there. I just don't do anything to it.
Oh.
The reason for that is because your followers who like you, when they see these messages, they jump on them trolls. So now if I get a crappy message and somebody says something stupid, I leave it, I prove it,
Okay.
and then people who follow the channel, they jump on him, you know. And
Okay.
so
See, I have a different view on that.
Okay.
I feel like you've taken the time to build your platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't give them a voice on something that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into.
Yeah. Okay, so I understand where you're coming from on that, and I didn't want to give them a platform, but because it was early days and I didn't really understand YouTube and I didn't understand people and I'd never had this kind of attention before, it's not so much a case of giving them a platform, it's a case of like, no, that's not what I'm into. I want to explain to you what I am. And you're trying to win that guy over, but you can never win a guy like that
Sure.
over, because most of these people who leave these comments are very, very bitter, and it doesn't matter what you say to them, they're never going to agree with you.
Right.
So, and I've learned that's been a learning process. So originally I would just try to answer that guy and say, look, I'm not doing it because of this. This is what I really meant to do. I've now learned a long time ago that you can't win. So you either delete it or leave it and let your viewers answer the guy.
Right.
And just to let you know, I've now got thick skin. So I've had some terrible things left about me, and nothing, and I mean nothing offends me
So
now.
just don't say anything. It doesn't matter to us.
You say something nice, that's fine.
Yeah, say something nice. It's much better. And they comment, they missed the point of the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like they're saying something bad, first of all, and then they're saying something bad that doesn't even make any sense. It's like they just missed it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you can't win talking to somebody like that.
No, I can give you a perfect example. So when I was stuck in the UK, I told a few stories from memory about guys who had fallen in love with bar girls. And of course it was crash and burn stories. They just went wrong. And then some people wrote and said, oh, I married a bar girl and it was perfect and we've had 3 kids. That's fine. Good luck to you.
Sure.
But because I told a few of these stories, guys jumped on the bandwagon and said, oh, hang on a minute, I know something happened to me similar. Can I send you my story? They'd send me their story and I'd read it out on a Saturday morning, and it escalated and everybody started sending stories. And because the stories had a similar theme, bar girl or tourist, and it was a crash and burn story, I then started getting trolled and people said, well, you're just a sex pack. You're just going out there for girls and you're encouraging others to go out for girls.
Right.
And that is absolutely not true, because I'm married, and the whole point of those videos was, 1, to fill a void on the channel, and 2, educate people who were coming out here so they wouldn't get scammed.
Absolutely.
So that's a great example.
Absolutely. Yeah. A girl that I dated was a bartender in Bangkok.
Okay.
So I would go, my daily routine was kind of to go see her, hang out in the bar until she got off, and then we'd go out, go out to Sukhumvit or something like that, right?
Right.
And the education that I got in that bar, how the staff works, how the staff interacts with the customers, was just
Mind-blowing.
Thailand school, mind-blowing
yeah,
Thailand school 101.
The problem is you can't tell anybody, if you say to a guy who's coming out here for the first time, I've met guys in where I live who are going out and they say, oh, you've been to Thailand, what's it like? What advice can you give me? And you can give them all the advice and they won't listen to it. They have to get burnt once and then they'll learn, but you can't tell them. There's an old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
Right.
It's absolutely true.
Right. Have you seen anyone lose it all here?
Oh, I had a friend who jumped off a balcony here in Jumtian. It's in one of my stories. Yeah, a guy called Thomas, a really good friend of mine. Just briefly, because the story's on the channel, so I don't want to bore everybody with it here, but just really, really briefly, he was a guy, he was a taxi driver, so he had very flexible time. He'd work really hard during November, December and January. He'd make a lot of money. In the UK, come January, it goes dead. So I've said it wrong, October, November, December, He worked real hard, made a lot of money. He'd come out here January, February, March, and what he did the bar hopping thing, and he eventually met a girl in Mike's shopping mall, and he thought she was a great girl.
Mike's shopping mall is on Pattaya Beach Road.
It is, yeah. And to cut a long story short, he thought she was a great girl. She kind of persuaded him to come and live out here full time. And there was an issue with the bank account, and they were going to open, well, they did. They opened this small cafe come hotel, a townhouse downstairs.
So he was having trouble getting his funds from the UK to Thailand.
Yeah.
So she helped him funnel that money over to here.
Right. Okay. So what happened was he had a house over there that he paid for, and he'd been divorced, but his house in the UK was paid for. And she persuaded him. She said, "Look, why don't you come out here full time? You know, because he'd been seeing her about 6 months, something like this, and he trusted her. He had no reason not to." And she said, "Look, I want to take you down this soy. We can lease this place. It was 4 rooms upstairs, a ground floor. We can have a bar, a little kitchen at the back to cook food. We can rent motorcycles out the front. We can live in one of the rooms, and we can rent out 3 of the rooms." And that's what happened. And then he sent funds over because he trusted her. And it did open up. It all opened up. But he had to go back to tie up his affairs in the UK. And when he came back to Thailand, there were some guys who basically said to him, "Look, you show your face around here again, and you're going to end up in the sand, 6 foot under."
Oh man!
And he was an older guy. He couldn't brush himself off and go back to the UK and start again. He'd lost everything. He checked into a hotel on Beach Road, drank half a bottle of whiskey and jumped off the balcony.
That's
and
terrible.
that happens a lot in Pattaya, a lot. It's happened a lot over the years. But he was a friend of mine. He didn't speak to me about that, and I was a bit upset at the time.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So this kind of thing can happen to anyone. I think if you're going to deal with someone over here, there's no rush because the girls know how to make you feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The beauty standard is
High.
out of control. Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy to fall in love with someone over here.
Yeah.
So take it slow is the best thing to do. No rush. No rush for this stuff.
One of the most frequent comments that get left on the channel when I tell these stories is, "Oh, that guy was so stupid. How could he be so stupid? He was dumb. You know, he didn't have any brains." But people who have never been here, they don't realize how good these girls are at what they do. You know, they're not like back in the West. They're pretty girls who speak very nicely. They know what buttons to push. They know what levers to pull. And they've got plenty of victims under their belt, you know, and they know what they're doing. And these guys get sucked in, and the way they get sucked in, it's very clever, and it's very easy to say he was stupid, you know, he threw all his money away, but it's not that simple.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think your first perception of Thailand is the same kind of submissive Asian generalization.
Yeah, yeah.
You see the Ying, the smiling. So you think it's this, I don't want to say soft, but...
no, most guys think they've died and landed in heaven.
Right, right. Where the flip side is, Thai girls are probably some of the toughest women on the planet, physically. They're quite loud, right? So they're not just quiet like Japanese or something like this, right? They're quite loud. And trying to get them to listen to you is like pulling teeth.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing some guys don't realize, not so much in Bangkok. There's a lot of nice girls. People paint Thai women with the same brush. They assume that in Thailand you can find a girl, any girl, for a price, which absolutely isn't true. You know,
that's not
true. The sort of girls that we're talking about now is a small percentage of Thailand. But what these guys don't realize when we're talking about bar girls, go-go dancers and massage parlor girls. When guys hook up with these kind of girls and become boyfriend, girlfriend, what they don't realize, they actually take on the family as well. So he's not only financially, he ends up financially supporting the girl. And what she'll say is, you know, look, my mother's sick, we're a poor family, we don't have money for medicine, the doctor's bill is 10,000 baht, and then next week it's something else, and it just goes on, and the guy becomes a walking ATM machine.
Sure, sure. So just to elaborate on what Peter's talking about, okay, there's a girl on this channel that you guys have seen that I get massages from. She's from Isan. That money that she's making at that massage shop goes back to Isan. She lives in the massage shop that she works at. So 90% of that money is going back to Isan. She's in communication with the family daily, probably.
Yeah.
And if she finds someone out here, in order to get married, there's a dowry. It's called a dowry.
Yeah.
Which is
the official, it's a sinsod, that's what they call it.
Sinsod.
But it's a dowry,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which means there's a fee. Actually, it's in the cartoon.
It is in the cartoon.
The last episode of the cartoon.
Yeah.
The guy has to give gifts and money. So I think music is coming back on shortly. So anything else you want to say to the guys?
Yeah, I was going to say something. It must be old age because I've totally forgotten now. I was going to just elaborate on what we were talking about there with the girls, but now it's gone. It'll have to wait for the next time.
Okay, so Peter's channel is called Thailand-bound.
And if you're interested in them kind of stories, you'll find a lot of them on there.
Yeah, no shortage. And it's I think it's good for anyone who's coming out here to kind of pre-game you and get your wheels turning on. It's just a glimpse into what to expect and different situations you could find yourself in.
Yeah, I mean, some people take it as a very negative, not a negative channel, but that series of videos, some people take it as negative. You know, they'll say, oh, you're putting everybody down and not all girls are like this. But I'm absolutely not. It's just stories that have been sent to me. These are guys' experiences. They came out to Thailand, they screwed up, or they were unlucky, things happened to them. They sent me in the story. I've edited it a little bit so it's easier for me to read out, and I read their story on the channel. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. It's not me trying to be vindictive towards Thailand or I hate Thai people. Absolutely not.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't keep coming here if that was the case.
Yeah.
Love it here.
Yeah, Thailand is an absolutely amazing place. I think it's just something that you have to be about your wits when you're here.
Yeah.
And you can have an absolutely amazing time. Just there's a protocol to it, and there's videos on YouTube that they'll give you the step by step, and if you follow those, you can have a blast.
And I've now remembered what it was. I forgot.
Okay.
So another important thing to remember is if you're coming out here and you're thinking about finding a girlfriend, a proper girlfriend, don't assume because, especially in a place like Pattaya, don't assume because you've met her in a shopping mall or you've met her in a 7-Eleven or you've met her in a retail store, don't assume that she is never working, because a lot of them do. It's unbelievable. They do. They're part-time, so they'll have a daytime job that finishes at 5, and in the evening they'll go out and. So check it out. Check them out.
Sure. Everybody's willing to accept more money. Me myself, I actually met a girl out here at Jomtien Beach.
Okay.
And went with her for free.
Are we going to be getting your story on the channel?
Maybe. But I'll just keep it really short.
Okay.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Okay.
And personally kind of fits what my image of what I like, right? So maybe I bought in pretty quick. But long story short, I saw her out here walking the beach with another guy, and she was working.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness me. And
it happens.
And you didn't jump off the balcony. Well done.
I did not, but I was not happy about it.
No,
But you learn this stuff, especially being here.
Yeah.
Kind of got to have a thick skin.
I've seen so many crash and burn stories. Being out here so long, I've met guys who have become friends, and they've been with a girl, and I know 100%. And how do you tell somebody that? It's like if you fall in love with a girl, and I know what you don't know, as it were. And as a friend, I try to. What do I say? Because you're going to fall out with me, and then eventually you'll find out. It's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one. But I think if every guy is different. Some guys are like they get it right away. Other guys, it takes a little.
Oh yeah, it doesn't happen to everybody. Because the problem is some guys just jump in too fast. They'll find a girl, they'll think she's great, I like hanging out with her, then they fall in love and then they've got no experience.
Right. But I think keep in mind, even if you've been burnt in this way, Thailand's fun, Pattaya's a blast. Don't get bitter with this stuff. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
And
it is a game.
Play it for fun.
Yeah.
Play it for fun. Play it to have fun and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And on that note, Peter, thank you for
it's been a blast. It's been a
joining
blast
me on the channel. Yeah.
And I did hear before I got here that every bar girl has got my picture behind the bar and they're using it as a dartboard.
Oh.
But it's not the case.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
So again, guys, Thailand-bound. I'll link the channel down below. And thank you guys for watching.